Fake it till you make it. This is a phrase that I coined back in 1972. I have met so many people in my life that have this confidence about them that I'm like, there must be something else going on with you because you're not cute and you're not successful. What am I missing? And you just think that confidence must come from somewhere. Like they must just do really well with the opposite sex or whatever sex they're fucking on, sucking on. They must have family money. They must be a super genius part Mensa, and I'm just not privy to that. Usually that's not the case. What's the expression? Life is not... You know what I mean? When I was living in London, I was starting to dip my toes completely accidentally in the influencer sphere. That all started because I woke up one day and Tinder had DM'd me. Let me tell you this. I'm the worst influencer in the world because I go to these events and I didn't understand that the point was to network. I would go early, eat, ask people extremely uncomfortable questions, then leave. What I would do at these events is I would find the people that looked the most sort of out of place and I'd just be like, tell me everything about yourself. This thing, I don't know why I do it. Everything I do is a power play and there's no reason for it. I do this thing where anytime I meet someone, I don't introduce myself. I'll go, hi, what's your name? And that's when I know. I'll go, nice to meet you. And then I'll just wait for me to tell me. They'll be waiting for me to tell them my name. Jesus. And I just went. And I think that's quite funny. I don't know why. It's not even funny. And I also do this thing that when someone tries to shake my hand or hug me, I'll go, and I'll just wait. It's like I'm playing rock, paper, scissors with them. But I always win. Everything's a power play with me. For no reason. I am perpetually, relentlessly living my own world. And I just do whatever makes me feel good. Yesterday I was at the gym and they insist that, okay, here's something I hate. Why is it, right, boomer alert, why is everything I have to have an app for it and an account for it? Fuck off! I don't want one. I signed up for the gym. I come to the gym. It's dead as fuck. It's a very quiet gym. I live in a very small city. And I come in and I sign my name on the sign-in sheet and I go work out. And she says, is there a reason you haven't downloaded the app? And I say, oh, I just haven't. Fuck you. And she goes, we really recommend it in case there's a fire alarm. And I went, I think I'll be okay. And she looked at me like I'm a cunt. It's just like, I remember, right, I'll actually get onto the topic, but let me tell you this story. And subsequently this store has shut down, and I think that I caused that, and I feel good about it. I went to the Apple store a little while ago to buy, I had the Apple Air Max Pros, which by the way, dash them in the bin. I went to the Apple store because I had lost one of the foam inserts on the headphones. They're magnetized, so they just like fall out. One had just fallen off. And I wanted to just buy one. I looked online, you could buy a pair, and it was like 50, 60 quid. And I was like, dude, that's way too fucking much. I was like, maybe if I go to the Apple store, they'll just sell one of them because they have like parts there. So I go in, I'm walking around, hi. I go in and walk around. And I said, hi, I wanted to see if I could buy this. I had the headphones. I wanted to buy this because I was about to get a train somewhere and I didn't want to get a long ass train with one of the foam things. They're like, yeah, we sell them here. Do you have an appointment? Why would I need an appointment? To buy something? No. Oh, you're in luck. There's appointments now. Okay. Go upstairs and sign in and you can be seen. So I'm like, right, you're doing too much already. Already you've pissed me off. So I go upstairs and I'm walking and like, hi. Have you got an appointment? I said, no, they told me you have an appointment now. I literally just want to buy the foam insert for my headphones. This is the second person I've told. Oh yeah, okay. We'll have appointments in about 20 minutes. I was like, oh, he said you have them now? No. I said, I have to make an appointment just to buy this foam thing. Yes. So I'm like, okay. At this point, like, I'm not very, like I said before, I'm not a very friendly person. So I'm literally like, okay. And he's like, okay, so I just need like, you know, everything you've ever fucking said, everything you've ever experienced, what you have for dinner, let me see you, Fanny, and sign in on this and scan this QR. And I'm not exaggerating about the Fanny thing yet, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you're booked in. Thanks. I'll come back in 20 minutes. Okay, you'll get a text when we're ready. Okay, I went outside, sat down, got a text. We're ready for you? Fuck you. So I came back in. Okay, oh, hi, have you got an appointment? Yeah, I was here 5 seconds ago. Yes, I have an appointment to buy this thing. Oh, yeah. Alright, just go take a seat at the back of the Jesus. Someone will be with you shortly. I thought you were ready for me now. Right. So I go to the back and I'm just kind of standing because everyone is sat down, like having an appointment. And I don't want to sit just next to someone because it's very close. And this bold prick says to me, you have an appointment? Yes, I have an appointment, yes. Just grab a seat. And I was like, I'm right, I'll just stand until like someone's ready to serve me. He took exception to that. No, just have a seat. I said, I'm good. I'll just stand until I'm ready for my appointment. I don't want to sit next to someone who's having an appointment when they're like on their computer and on their phone. It's inside baseball, bro. I'm not part of this. Leave me alone. And then that prick, who was doing nothing, by the way, could just serve me then. Oh, okay, well, your appointment was with me, like, a few minutes later. I sit down. What can I help you with? Right. Communication breakdown. I've told these 2 other people. I'll now tell you. In fact, I think I told 3 people because when I left thinking I spoke to 4 people about the same issue. I said, I just want to buy this foam thing for my headphones. Okay, yeah, sure. I said, ideally I just want to buy the one because I've only lost the one and I don't want to have to pay for 2 because it's so expensive. Okay, yeah, we can't do that. We can get you 2. And I was like, fine, I'll take the 2 then. Okay, we can order them in for you and you can come and collect them from here or we can send them to your house. What do you mean? I said, you don't sell them here? No, we don't sell them here. We'll have to order them in. Right. Well, I spoke to 3 people before you and I told them I was here to buy this foam insert. They made me make an appointment, leave, come back, wait for you. You told me to sit down 5 times. Fuck you. And now you're telling me that you can't help me. I could just do this online. Yeah. We can order it. You can pick it up from here. Wow! Useless cunt. And I was like, thanks. And I left. Fucking screwing. I cursed the day he was born. And I think about a month later that shop shut down. I wonder why. Useless. Fuck you. I will never download an app for anything that I don't absolutely have to. Have you got our app? Shove up your ass. And it's just like the breakdown of like human communication. It's maddening. Like that interaction was so much longer than it had to be. And now look, you've all lost your bloody jobs because there's no point in you. I was at Poundland the other day to buy like, I don't know, cleaning supplies. Have you got our app? What the fuck are you on about? I've got your app. No one will be seen in here. I haven't got your fucking app. And then she goes to me, is that a wig? Bitch, fuck you. What was I talking about? Wait, what was I talking about? Faking it till you make it. Just what men are doing all the time, but they just don't realise they're doing it. I don't know, man. Like, I think a lot of us have this. A lot of us experience this. I'm like one end or the other. I'm the coolest person in the room. I'm the biggest loser who ever existed. Just depends on the room partially as well. I think I'm very confident until I'm not. I know myself. I know what I have done. I know what I think I'm capable of. I know I'm not an idiot. I'm not like a super genius, but I'm not a moron. And a lot of people are really stupid. People who should not be stupid. And it's like, well, how the fuck did you get here? Do you ever meet someone who's so like vapid and you're like, how did you get here? How do you get dressed? How do you shower? How do you wipe your ass? You're so dense and I can't relate to you about anything because what is there to relate to you on? You're like homunculus. Like you fascinate me. I'm fascinated by like normal people. I met this woman at a baby shower who works in HR and I was like, tell me everything. She's like, there's nothing to say. I'm like, even better. Nothing more I hate than meeting another tattooer. No, I'm kidding, but not really. Fake it till you make it. I don't know, man. I think it's just like, I think it's backwards. It's like cosplaying the life you want, isn't it? Does this tattoo make me look like I've got a double chin? Shut up and just crack on, will you? I think I know that I'm like decent because when I was younger and people would ask me like what I do and stuff, I'd be like, oh, this is, but I want to be a tattooer, or this and this, but blah, 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 blah. Or I'd just lie to strangers. Like, I'm a big proponent for lying to strangers. I'd just tell them whatever, because it was just sounding cooler than what I do now. Or I would say things that I felt like, maybe cool by association, or like, oh, I know this person. And now it's the opposite. Now I don't talk to anyone about anything that they might find interesting, because I'm one of my fucking performing monkey. No. Does my hair look good like this? Look at that flip. Oh, I'm talking shite, bro. Like, nothing's coming out making any kind of sense. I think that ultimately, like, you need to believe that if you're in that room, the room where it happens, no matter what the room is, metaphorical, physical, you deserve to be there as much as anyone else, and no one really knows shit about you. It's like if you're like a waiter and you're working in a restaurant and you're feeling kind of down on that, and you know it's not necessarily what you want to do, and you're like, people who I'm serving probably think that like I'm this and that, or have these notions about me. Firstly, no one's thinking about you. No one gives a fuck, especially not me. But one thing I used to do when I was in situations where I felt a bit down on myself is I would just make shit up in my head. I'd be like, well, for all they know, I'm the owner, and I just sort of do this sometimes, because often when I've worked in like restaurants in the past, people who are quite high up in the company have come and like helped out on like random days, and they're just dressed like, you know, one of the servers, and they get stuck in, and actually they're like, you know, head of fucking over their waiting staff or whatever. Like, and it's like, wow, you're just like me for real, but not really. Things, yeah, so that I would do to cope a bit when I was feeling like I wasn't really reaching my full potential, slash, I do this to myself still now, is I just lie to myself. It's just like, I'll just tell myself something like, I've met some people who I think are so cool or like so successful, and to me they're like such an inspiration. But like if you looked at their Instagram or their TikTok or whatever, they're just not really active, they don't really post, they don't really care. So their following is like fine, like it's obviously good, but it's like could be better, I guess. Or there's people that mean fuck all to me that I look online and they're like huge, but I'm like, well, I don't give a shit because you don't mean anything to me. Like I'm not impressed by you. At the end of the day, like no one really knows what's going on with you unless you want to let them in, want to let them know. And the people that do know you probably think you're cool, probably think you're great, because they've got to know you. And unless you're like a bit of a dickhead, then they probably do quite like you. But you know, that's not a blanket rule. Like don't quote me on that. It's so easy to see people who have so much more than you, and feel like fucking hell, like why do some people have so much and everything I have, I feel I had to fight for my life to get, or every day's a struggle, every day's so uncertain, and it's exhausting. That might be true, but let that comfort you in the fact that there is so much out there, and there's enough for everyone. Like when tattooing was mega slow, like towards the tail end of me living in London, I got a job tattooing at a jeweler's, and the amount of money that I witnessed, it was like a jeweler's in Notting Hill and Chelsea. The amount of money that I witnessed on a daily basis, I tattoo like loads of like wags and like celebs and stuff, and it'd be like, wow, there actually is so much money out there. I'm just not privy to it. Same with like when you're charging for your art and stuff. You can't charge through the eye of your own finances. You have to remember, like, not everyone was born working class or lives a working class life. A lot of people were born with money, they just don't want to let you know that. I have to charge in a way that like makes sense. Like I've put X hours into this, my supplies cost me this much. I don't want to be struggling to feed myself every month. So what am I going to do about it? You know, no one's going to look out for you like you are. So you got to just do something about it. There is that expression, when you tell someone the price of your art, it should make you wince. Speaking of that, oh my god, I was at a fair like a year ago, and this guy said to me, I had like little original paintings, and he's like, oh, how much are these? And I was like, oh, that's like an original painting, it's £50. And he went, 50p? And I went, no, £50. And he was like, I'm sorry. And I was like, 50p? That was a bit of a humbling moment. But you know, sometimes a girl needs to be humbled. Sometimes a bitch needs to be humbled. This is nonsense. I don't even think I could make a coherent sentence out of what I've just said. I've got no clue what I'm talking about. But yeah, there's been so many times where I've been like working closely with someone, and you know, we've been speaking about something, and I've known them for a, you know, extended period of time, and then I found out like their parents are millionaires, and I'm like, oh, huh. I mean, good for you, but interesting to know. There's been so many times where I've seen tattooers who have like similar following to me, and seem to work a similar amount as me, like living la vida loca. And I'll say to my friends, like, what the fuck are they doing? And I'm not. And they're like, oh, rich parents. Ah. So I don't know. Maybe you should live your life like you've got rich parents. And I don't mean spend frivolously. I mean just put yourself out there, act like you have generational wealth even though you don't, and use that to fuel your fuckery and tomfoolery. I think just like don't let people pigeonhole you. No one really knows you. I mean, everyone knows you as much as you want them to. There's been times where I've told people stuff about myself who've known me for like years, and they've been like, "What? Why didn't you tell me that sooner?" And I'm like, "Well, you know, I just like to keep some shit to myself, and then see how we get on." I think it just gets to the point like now there's so much stuff that like I'm sure it would feel like I was making it up years ago to tell you now, and I'd be like, wow, that actually happened. And it happened, and it's not a big deal to me anymore. Like, that's pretty cool. I have moments of like self-doubt where I'm like, bro, like this is a bit much now. Like, when is it gonna get better? But you also have to remember that so many people would kill to be in your situation. And like something I think of about myself, using myself as an example, I live in England. I'm white in England, able-bodied, and cis, so I've never had to deal with the ramifications or massive fucking encumbrances that come with being born in a body that isn't my own or doesn't identify with me. Mentally sound to a degree. I'm pretty chill. You know what I mean? I'm very much loved. I have family, friends, wonderful partner. I have so much that so many people, and even myself, you know, a year ago, 2 years ago, would be like, oh, that's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. So, you know, let's not forget that all the stuff that we might get bogged down and aspire to is all just made up. Like, it's all just a bunch of bollocks. Like, all anyone really wants, well, I'm speaking about myself here, is to be happy and comfortable and feel at peace and have their basic needs met, and then a little extra. That would be nice, wouldn't it? One thing I love is getting massages. I want to get massages every fucking day. When, you know what? When I make it big, that's what I'll do. Also, I'm a big proponent for that. Instead of talking about ifs, I always just say when. When I believe it, and then some days I am like, and then some days I'm like, just because you happen to be born in a first world country and an able-bodied doesn't mean you can't feel bad about things. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, don't forget, if you're gonna be so bogged down in what you haven't got, to take stock of what you do have, because it's probably a lot. What's that expression? Don't feel bad about what you've got because you've already got more than you ever had. I think I just made that up, but I'm kind of spitting, don't you think? Ultimately, at one point, what I wanted in the world was to be a fucking tattoo apprentice. And I did that. I don't have to do it again. You can't make me. I also think faking it till you make it works very well if you're trying to date or start a relationship, because, again, the people you're meeting, they don't know, you don't know me, bro. And I don't want to get to know you. And it's just like, you have to act like, dude, when I was dating last, it was a bit gnarly. Like, not for me, for them, because it was just like, I had nothing to lose, which, by the way, you have nothing to lose when you're starting to date, because who gives a fuck? Like, and also, I would rather, if you don't like me, I'd rather know that from Jump Street, because, okay, that might feel a bit bad for a moment, but it'd feel much worse if a year down the line you're like, I'm not in love with you and you're a fucking ugly bitch, and I'd be like, oh, T. When I was last single and dating, last time ever, I was very much like, extremely myself, to the point that even I was like, okay, you gotta chill, because it's just like, take me or leave me, you know what I mean? If you can't leave me, what? I don't know you, but I know myself, and I know that I am very, very loyal. I'm very generous. You know, I wear my heart in my sleeve. No, I don't think that's true. I'm very loyal, okay? Let's just say that. I'm very loyal. So if I'm with you, I'm with you. Oh, Christ. I mean, I remember saying to my boyfriend, like, just before I moved in with him, we were having this sort of thing. And I said to him, you have to let me know now if you like everything I'm about, because I'm never going to change. I'm probably only going to get more this way, because these are qualities I really like about myself. And if you don't like them and you feel you may come to resent them, that's okay. But you got to let me know now, because you aren't damn my sparkle. It's just like, I gotta know, because I haven't spent the last, couple years alone, really trying to figure out who I am, what I want to be, working on myself, to let it all go for the sake of a man, for the sake of anyone, for the sake of a relationship, for the sake of feigned love. Like, I really like a lot about myself. These qualities specifically. These qualities can be quite divisive. They're not for everyone. So if you don't like them, you got to tell me, because I'm not changing them. And this is your chance to tell me. And obviously he said, bitch, that's me and you. But it's just like, and that was hard to say, because there was a moment when I said it to him and I looked at him and I thought, shit, what if he says, like, thanks for telling me, I'm not into it. But I was like, but you shouldn't do anything in private that you wouldn't be comfortable telling your friends in public. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure if that's 100% true. But like, don't do anything in private that you'd be ashamed of coming to light. There you go. What a fucking expression. But like, when I was having this conversation with my boyfriend, that was a difficult conversation to have, and I was saying to him, these are things about me that I hold true. This is like a moral dilemma for me. My wings will never falter. This is something like that is a make or break. This is who I am. This is like what I'm about. You can see that about me now. Like, you know, we've talked about this stuff before, but now it's all like, you can't turn your head away from it like it's happening in front of you. Are you in or you're out? Because if this kind of shit happens again, it's only going to come up again, and I'm only going to be worse about it. And, you know, I said to him then, because these are qualities about myself I really like, and the qualities I look for in other people. So if you don't like them, then if you can't hang them, there's the door. Do you know what I mean? Like, and again, like, it was a scary thing to say to someone, like, that you love. You got to leave me now if you can't handle me like this. And he said, no, I love you, and I really like these things about you. You know, again, there's nothing bad I was doing. It was just like, I'm very, very headstrong, and I'm like very steadfast in my beliefs, and like, I have absolutely no problem, you know, standing on biz, as it were. And that could make people uncomfortable because you're a rich fucking person. And like, you're entitled to feel however you want, but then maybe we shouldn't date. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe even we shouldn't hang out. But yeah, I think like, if you have qualities about yourself that you like, you have to lean into them. Lean back. Because that's how you know, fan the flames. And the only way you get good at dealing with situations where like your morals and your values are put to the test is by jumping in feet first. Like, there's been so many times when I was younger and I knew what I thought was right, but I've never really had it tested or had to really stand up to someone about it. First time I ever had to do it was when I was 25, and I was opening my first shop, and I heard murmurs about an artist that I'd hired through the grapevine, you know, 12th time removed. And I sought out that person who I found out was saying these things. And I said, hey, I've heard murmurs. Will you please tell me as much as you're comfortable saying about this person so I can address it with them? That was a really hard conversation to have because they weren't the most inviting person in the world, but whatever, that's fine. They told me the very little I needed to know just to act upon it. And I said, say no more. I remember that night I called them and I said, hey, bitch, that was not easy. Start as you mean to go on. You know what I mean? Like, and that was the first time I had to confront something that was difficult. But I knew then I was doing it in front of an audience. Like, I had a tattoo shop full of people. So it was like push comes to shove. Okay, you either do it or you don't. Like, again, say what you mean what you say. So I had to do it. And then, like I said to my boyfriend like a little while ago, like, this shit isn't easy. I just make it look easy. No, I'm just kidding. But like, this shit isn't easy, but it's important. And things that are important, worth doing, seldom are easy. Is that the correct use of the word seldom? I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, dude, fake it till you make it. And like, again, I guess that translates into standing up for what you think is important. Like, tell your friends, have these conversations that are difficult about things that you hold dear. If you see your friends acting in a way that you think isn't right, you have to talk to them about it. I am lucky enough that I've cultivated a life where there's no one in my life that I'm like, oh, they're a dickhead, but I've known them for ages. It's like, nah, I'm not really about it. Like, all my friends, I won't say a bad word about them. Like, they're my friends. And if I have an issue, I'll talk to them. Obviously, if there's like something I'm working out in my head, I might speak to my partner about it and be like, do you think I should talk to him about this? Or this happened, I'm feeling a bit blah blah. But that is almost never happening because my friends are my friends. And like, obviously, most of my friends I've made later in life because I don't fucking talk to anyone from school. By the way, if we went to school, except from Jess, I don't want to talk to you. The amount of times I get messages, hi, it's blah blah from school. I know, bitch, I'm not interested. Leave me the fuck alone. Because I'll tell you why. I'll tell you for why. I've never gotten over anything, and neither should you. And I'll tell you why I think that is. There's been times where I've like seen people I went to school with, or they've like tried to communicate with me in some kind of way, and I've been like, look, I'm over it. Like, you are horrible to me. And obviously I'm grown up now, whatever. I don't think about it. But all I think is, how would, 13, 14, 15-year-old me feel about me now being like, hi, so nice to see you. It's not nice to see you. You look like shit. You are horrible. And unless you're going to start it with an apology, but also, shouldn't be your ass, I'm not interested. One guy who I went to school with who was like my best pal and then ended up being absolutely fucking horrible to me because he's a pussy and hasn't got a backbone. Synonymous. And all his friends decided they was trying to be mean to me, and he was like, yeah, let's get in on that, fucking coward. Then messaged me years later, like, I wanted to make amends, I'm moving away with my girlfriend, I've just been really, really bad about it. And I was like, okay, fine. Then tried to use that as a way to take me on a date. Are you mental? I think the girlfriend thing was made up, I don't know. But it's like, do you think I would ever, ever date someone like you who would say such horrible things about me? Ever? Especially when I was my most vulnerable and insecure. Don't message me. If we're not friends now, I don't want to talk to you. Like, if I meet someone new and we become friends organically, that's cute. I'm not really in the market for any friends, so don't try it. But it's like, if we were friends once and we're not now, I'm telling you, there's a reason for that, and I don't want to be your fucking friend. Because I had bad friends growing up because I was very insecure and unself-assured, and I did. And the friends I had back then, they knew that about me and they took advantage of it. And they're either shitty people or were just shitty to me. Maybe both. And it's just like, don't message me. I know who you are, much to my dismay. I'm not asked. Don't try and force a fucking bond because you think we've been through. You don't know me, bitch. And it's like, I will get mad about it because 15-year-old me deserves that. And like I say, she'd think I was pretty cool. And I don't want to get to know you, you fucking loser. Like, again, it's just like, I left that town the day I could. Like, the day I turned 16, I got my G-Series and I fucking bounced, bro. Let's blow this popsicle stand. And it's just like, that's what I did. Moving to London massively opened my mind. I've changed so much. I've grown up tremendously. Me and you have nothing in common, and I pride myself on that. Fuck is... Who the fuck dare to call me when I'm so busy? Okay. This was nothing burger. Want to get 33, make a wish. That's all I'm going to be talking for. But yeah, my boyfriend's about to be home. I don't want him walking on me screaming at the computer. So I'm going to go. I'm not sure what I'll title this episode. I guess you'll find out. Bye.